Good afternoon. This is Central Oregon Survival Network doing a review on compact camp stove. Found this online, was questionable. I decided to order it and see what it was all about. And so far I've been really impressed. I have not used it yet, and I will do a second video on the functionality of it. But this one I'm just going to show you the construction and how well it's put together. I'm just showing the box here that it comes in, Great Northern Compact Camp Stove. I'm going to zoom in on a little bit of the characteristics. It has 4 3¼ inch long and 2¼ inch in diameter interlocking flue pipe sections. Now, it makes about a 4-foot chimney, basically. Pretty good stuff. It's 2 inch actually, and they call it 2 1/4 because that's where they flanged it out in 1/4 inch. So you can actually use 2 inch automotive piping on this, so you can get your 90s if you want to change to a 90 somewhere, run it through a wall, run it through a wall tent, run it up through the top, maybe get some extra pieces. I'll go over all that here in a minute. It has removable legs. Everything basically removes and goes inside of it. It's actually pretty nice setup. Of course, you know, once you start using it over and over and over again, it might become a little bit sooty, dirty to do that, but some people like that function. Here's a little more characteristics. Super strong rolled steel construction, sets up in minutes. It actually does. I'll demonstrate that here in a second. Compact design for easy carrying storage. It is very compact. Easy to carry handle, rotate cooktop, burns wood, compressed logs, charcoal, or any convenient combustible. That's one of the big things here on this. One of the biggest reasons I bought it, because later on I'm going to do how you can apply this to kind of a suburbia setting where you can actually use in-house items, which I've actually got everything together. I just don't have the video ready yet. But I'm going to actually show you that you don't need or require any tools to actually put this into your house safely. And I'll show you how to do that in a later video. And that's one of the reasons why I bought this, not for me necessarily, but to do a video about how this can apply to an urban setting. Because there's going to be structure everywhere, okay? That, you know, a lot of people talk about wilderness survival. Yes, it's fun. I love to go out in the woods. Sometimes you find yourself lost, and it's very important. But there's also the urban aspect. You're always going to find structure. You're always going to find roads. You're always going to find things out there. So this is one of the things that I kind of want to start doing in my videos, is more urban-related activities as such as survival. Okay, a little bit of emergency management stuff. But anyway, back to this. The overall measurements is 13 1/4 inches long by 7 3/4 inches wide, 8 inch diameter, stands about 18½ inch with your legs, and it weighs 20 pounds. So I bought this for 80 bucks from Guide Gear online. Only cost me about 15 bucks shipping and handling, into it about 95 bucks, and to me, it's a good investment. And I'll go over how to put it together, what it looks like on this video. All right. There's a couple functions on this thing I really like also. Here it is right here, like I said, easy carrying handle, weighs 20 pounds, not much at all, okay? These are actually your handle that fold out into your cooking surface. That's one of the things I really like about it. It's pretty innovative with this, so that it basically just folds right out, bam, cooking surface. Okay, everything that comes with it is inside. Like I said, you fold it all into itself and carry it wherever you need to carry it. One of the other reasons why I bought this too is, I don't know from what state you're from, but in our state, sometimes during the summer seasons, you cannot have an open campfire. You have to have it in some sort of containment. With, if you've seen the open fire pits with the mesh on top, stuff like that, resistors, so that none of that stuff can go all over the place. Okay, your ambers basically. Everything comes out. Actually comes with a scraper for the bottom, which is nice. I'll show you another option they did. all your legs, tubing, flue stacks. Okay, now I'm just going to go over this real quick. You have two, which I really like. You have two basically dampeners to control how much airflow. You got one on the front, you've got one on the back. And they actually really well designed. They work well, they don't come apart. Seems like it's pretty good stuff. The door has basically just a little latch. I did have to modify the door. They had just a regular nut on here. I put a locking nut so that this wouldn't keep, it kept coming loose and trying to fall off from me messing around with it, so I actually put a locking nut on there. Pretty simple stuff. Alright, a little more of this. These tubes also came with it, have hooks that slide underneath here. And they slide over here on this side also. One reason is to put added support, even though it does stop, but added support. You can see I can put some pretty good force down on here. If you put a big pot on here, water or whatnot, to get it boiling, these actually add support. Now, also, this is actually an awesome design. They also made it to where you can put your gloves, socks, whatever you want to put in here to dry. You basically just slip them through here, bang, okay? So you put them on here, you put them either which way. But what this does, these tubes do not allow your gloves to touch the sides and melt, which is really awesome. I thought that was a great idea on their part. And you put your socks, your gloves, and I bet this will dry them out pretty quick, which I'll be doing in my second review, is a function test of this actual stove. See how hot it gets, excuse me. See how well it cooks, and see how well it dries items. And of course, see the overall function, and see if it works out like it should. Okay, now I'm going to go over, I'm going to take these back out, because they're falling around. And it also does, on the bottom, has a way you can get all your ash out, which I thought was another great design. And they do come with a little scraper. You got a scraper, you just go in there and push all your ashes out. Falls right at the bottom, just kind of like a barbecue. Okay, what we're going to do is put the legs in. Now on these legs, which is nice, they're only like half-inch pieces of tubing. And what you can do is, if you want this thing to be taller, like say if you had it in a wall tent, or somewhere where you want it just to be taller, all you gotta do is get you some half-inch tubing, longer legs, bam, you're done. Now, see, it's a little short, but if you're sitting there, kind of low to the ground, be all right. I'll go over that, like I said in the second video. I'm gonna put these tubes back in, just to kind of illustrate how these go. Tubes on the other side. Okay, now on the top piece, it does have, you can see that, I'll get a little closer view, but it does have they kind of did a crazy job on it, but it does have an arrestor in there so that your ambers can't go too far. Well, I usually prefer more of a screen than that type, so what I'll probably end up doing is wrapping a screen around this, some steel screen, just to make sure my ambers don't get away from me, and especially when it's dry out, if I am using this. And just an extra precaution, I don't want to be that guy. Okay, all these fit together, just like this, nice and easy. Like I said, you can actually use exhaust piping. This actually comes out to be about real close to 4 feet. Done. That easy. Okay, I'm going to do a walk around of it. So the only things that I can see as far as not using it yet, the changes that I need to make, I've already made one on the door latch. Which I said I just put a lockable nut on there. The top, as far as the arrestor, I'd like to put some screen on it, keep that embers from blowing away. And also on the inside, I would like to put some expanded steel just on the bottom, not too much to take too much space away from the wood, because of course you're already going to have to be chopping your wood down pretty far. So I'll put some expanded metal just down there at the bottom, one, to keep the oxygen flowing underneath your fire, but also two, you don't want your coals straight on your steel. Eventually it will burn a hole, trust me. I know it takes a long time, but eventually it will get to that point where it'll burn through or just weaken your steel. Okay, so I'm going to do a walk around of it so you can kind of get a full view. Do a little close up of the door first. As you can see, that's the net that I added. It's just a little spinner. It's hard to get a hold of with my gloves. There you go. Just locks just like that. Real simple. There's your dampener. And it's, of course, it's got the feet and then that 4-foot tube, which actually is a pretty long tube for the thing. I'll get out a little farther so you can see actually how long that tube really is here in a sec. But for a little wood stove, for $95 with shipping, of course. For a little wood stove, let me tell you, it's not a bad buy. Now, of course, I'm going to do the function test on my next video to give you all the ins and outs. But as far as just the way it looks, and let me see if I can get a farther out video so I can show you how long that pipe really is. So you can see it's got quite a pipe on it. It's 4 foot. Pretty nice. But as far as, you know, for the money, great. I mean, 95 bucks, got yourself a little stove for a wall tent or even in a little trailer. And I'm going to show you a future video on actually how to put this in your house or even an apartment. You can do this with out a window, out a slider, and the way that I've developed it, it actually works well. So if the power did go out and you don't have your electric key, you have no way to cook water or cook your food, this actually will come in very, very handy in an emergency situation. Okay, and like, you know, and you might be saying, well, where do you get firewood if you're in an urban environment? It's everywhere. You can use fences. You can use, I mean, if it really gets down to it, you can cut, you know, all sorts of different stuff up. Old sheds, anything. You can find wood everywhere to burn. And that's what I really like about this. Or you can keep a stockpile of the Presto logs, or even a little bit of coal just to keep around. Now, mind you that this stove, I have not tested it yet, and I will test it to give you a full review of the functionality. But anyway, thank you. That's Central Oregon Survival Network, and have a good day.